Hi, my name is Valerie Lewis and welcome to my video showcase on the ETBI Take One programme, Embedding the Sustainable Development Goals in Teaching and Learning. First, a little bit about myself. I work with Education and Training Boards Ireland, which is the representative body for 246 Education and Training Board post-primary schools. I've worked in the areas of citizenship education and curriculum development for over 20 years. Prior to my current role, I worked in Irish Aid in the Department of Foreign Affairs, and while I was there, Ireland was involved in the coordination of the development of the new Sustainable Development Goals. It was fascinating to witness the process and the impact of a small country like Ireland. This showcase will take you through the background to the development of the Take One programme, which has been designed and written to assist our schools to embed the Sustainable Development Goals, also known as the SDGs or Global Goals, in teaching and learning across the curriculum. I'm going to start by outlining why I thought the programme is needed and how it works in our schools. In the last few years, we've seen a lot of activity around global citizenship issues and climate justice topics, and in particular young people and our students are speaking out about various global issues that concern them. Some have marched and protested at a national level, while others have campaigned and engaged in their own school. We've also seen that our teachers are interested in finding ways to support students to explore these issues in their classrooms. However, I believe that while climate action and climate justice are really important, it's essential that we engage with all 17 SDGs and not just single out one. It might seem strange that I'm suggesting more work, but it seems to me that if our young people are experiencing hunger or poverty, tackling issues of climate action may not be their first priority. It also struck me that in helping to address issues of poverty and hunger, we could better prepare and hopefully impact climate justice issues. The current United Nations SDGs were signed into being in 2015, and in a change from previous strategies, and for the first time, all 193 United Nations countries signed up to commit to a better world and a better future for all of us. This pact was a recognition of the importance of a partnership for the goals, which would now apply to all countries and all citizens, and also supported one of the core principles that no one would be left behind. The global goals are sometimes presented as 5 Ps: people, planet, prosperity, peace and partnership. And approaching the SDGs in a thematic way can highlight the impact across several areas. Given all my own experience, I became interested in how the global goals were impacting in the classroom and what that looked like on an individual level. I was also interested in that theme of inclusivity and how it was reflected in practice. Were all of our students engaged in the same way? Did they have the confidence and the capacity to take action? Were all voices being heard? It also struck me that these 5 Ps were closely aligned to the core values of the ETB sector: excellence in education, respect, care, equality and community, and as such reflect much of the ethos of our educational approach. We all know that our schools and classrooms are busy places, in particular in the past year, and sometimes struggle to figure out how to engage in the complex topics around sustainability. And while they want to include these global issues in their content, they're also conscious of ensuring that they reference and include the information appropriately, and not just as another thing to learn. I was conscious of that curriculum overload, but also the potential to develop something practical for teachers and schools, which would start where they were at, and also take on that inclusive theme, something that afforded all students in all classrooms the opportunity to engage with global citizenship issues. I also wanted to create a space where that engagement could be individual or collective, public or private, quiet or loud. And so the Take One programme was born. I started by looking at the new junior cycle as the last of the subjects in the new framework commenced in 2019, and the subject specifications were all current. When I reviewed the learning outcomes for each junior cycle subject, I noted that not only could they be mapped to the SDGs, but that many did this quite explicitly. I developed a resource that completed this mapping exercise for all subjects, and while the list is not exhaustive, it provides a starting point for all teachers. This slide highlights two examples, home economics and maths, and looks at some specific and implied opportunities to highlight the SDGs while already covering the required syllabus content. This means that there's no need to look at introducing additional information, and in practice, the global goals can be used to teach subject content and not become a subject in themselves. Likewise, it also meant that all subjects, and by default all students, could make connections to the different SDGs. The training programme aligns to the resource and ensures that interested teachers and at least one member of the senior management team attends. Each training workshop outlines the theory behind the SDGs and how the themes of the goals align to the core values of our ETB schools. The resource shines a spotlight on where sustainability is referenced in the learning outcomes and also supports using relevant junior cycle key skills, for example, creativity or critical thinking. Following the training, I encourage our schools and students to put the resource into practice. This occurs over the course of Take One Week or May Day for Sustainability. Take One Week usually happens 3 to 4 weeks after the training workshop, and teachers commit to teaching one lesson about one SDG to one class over 1 week. Schools share their engagement on Twitter using the hashtag ETBs, SDGs, explaining what they did and including photographs and images of their activities. And the hashtag allows me to track progress and engagement. This year, Tipperary ETB committed to engage with Education for Sustainable Development as a collective of schools in an event called May Day for Sustainability. On May 11th, all 11 post-primary schools participated in a day of activities and actions aligned to the SDGs, and again posted photographs and details on Twitter using the hashtag ETBSDGs. Their participation reached remarkable heights, and as a collective, the hashtag was trending for over 10 hours on the day. These slides highlight some of the amazing projects that were undertaken by ETB schools in Take One Week 2019, 2020, and as part of May Day for Sustainability. Students engaged as entire class groups, as individuals, and across over 15 different subject areas. I was delighted to witness the enthusiasm and interest amongst our schools and teachers and the efforts made to creatively engage in different teaching and learning approaches. In 2 short years, COVID notwithstanding, over 215 ETB teachers, principals and deputies have attended Take One training. From a policy perspective, I try to ensure that the Take One programme aligns to the strategic direction of the formal education sector. The programme is informed by the framework of looking at our school self-evaluation, and more recently the Department of Education Statement of Strategy 2021 to 23, which specifically references the Sustainable Development Goals and climate action. The recently issued Teaching Council CAME standards for initial teacher education also reflect the important role of global citizenship education and sustainable development education by ensuring that they are core elements of all future teacher training programmes. As well as a repeat of Take 1 Week and May Day for Sustainability, a number of other developments are planned for the coming year. These include training for the teachers and principals in our 27 community national schools, the development of the resource for senior cycle, including Leaving Cert Applied, the development of education for sustainable development policy templates for use in our schools. I hope you have found this showcase informative, and if you're interested in further information, my contact details are on the final slide. Thank you for listening.